This is Heather Fleming with Day 6 of our 365 Days of Learning. Before we begin, please remember to engage from the bottom up so that we can continue to spread the word. The story of Jim Crow laws is one of systemic oppression and resilience. For nearly a century, these laws legally enforced racial segregation and inequality in the United States. But what were they and how did they impact society? Let's take a closer look. Jim Crow laws systematically enforce racial segregation and inequality across the United States, particularly in the South. These laws weren't just a collection of rules, they were part of a larger social and legal system designed to uphold white supremacy and deny Black Americans their basic rights as citizens. After the Civil War and the abolition of slavery, African Americans began to make significant strides toward equality during the Reconstruction era. However, this progress was met with fierce backlash. By the late 19th century, Southern states enacted Jim Crow laws to maintain white supremacy, and Northern states quickly followed. Jim Crow laws segregated nearly every aspect of public life: schools, transportation, restaurants, and even cemeteries. Signs reading whites only and colored were common sights designed to remind Black Americans of their second-class status. The laws created a society of separate but equal, but in reality, African Americans were subjected to underfunded schools, substandard services, and systemic discrimination. In addition to schools and other services being substandard and discriminatory, the justice system was stacked against them with all-white juries and biased judges ensuring that racial violence often went unpunished. This wasn't just about inconvenience, it was about maintaining a social hierarchy where Black Americans were kept at the bottom. The laws reinforced the idea that racial inequality was natural and justified, perpetuating cycles of poverty and oppression. Despite these injustices, African Americans fought back. From individual acts of resistance to the civil rights movement, Black people throughout the country continued to fight for liberation and the ability to simply have the same rights, privileges, and dignity of their fellow white citizens. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act outlawed segregation, effectively ending the legal authority of Jim Crow laws. While the laws themselves are gone, their legacy still affects American society today. Systemic racism, economic disparities, and voter suppression tactics rooted in the Jim Crow era continue to impact Black communities. Understanding Jim Crow laws is essential to understanding our nation's history and addressing the inequalities that still exist today. Jim Crow laws remind us of the dangers of institutionalized racism and the importance of vigilance in protecting civil rights for all. Take time to reflect on how the remnants of Jim Crow still affect society today and consider ways you can contribute to creating a more equitable future. Share this video to educate others and keep the conversation going.